A very good day. Yeah, sorry, I've started wrong. A very good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where and when you're watching us from. My name is Mutali Wawashirawanyaga, Mujiro wa Balia Kaligithi, Nagoyoka Kumangogo Shedia Shumagahuho, Muridayo, Dayo. Today is a beautiful day. Once you're here on African Kona, it has to be, it must be, it should be a beautiful day. It is the 23rd of July. The year is 2023, and we are here to have an awesome conversation. There is something that we have never done, and we have been doing it all wrong since we started African Corner. We have never talked about food. And you know, we are Africans. So, and Africa is our business, as people keep saying. So, today we are going to do it right, and we are basically going to talk about food. I don't know where Africans meet and food is not a conversation. So, here today, 25 episodes later, we are going to talk about food. Dine on culture is our topic today, and I'm very honored today to have the presence of amazing minds here who are going to help me have this, just have this conversation and to understand matters on food, especially with the cultures, the modern day world, and also for others who are not in the country who are also experiencing a different thing with food and dining all along. So today, stay tuned. Appreciate everybody who's joining us live. Send in your comments. Tell other people to join in, share in, so that we can have this awesome conversation. I can see people have already started sending in their comments, so this is really nice. Live, laugh, and love. Thank you very much. Another friend of the show, who we call them friends from diaspora. Asante sana for being here tonight. Continue sending in your comments. We'll be reading them through, questions, and all that. Right now, allow me to ask our guests to introduce themselves, starting with Mora. She's the newest guest
Yes, I
today.
am.
So,
New kid in the
Mora,
block.
yeah, Mora, please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, who you are, and anything you like to share with us today.
Sure. Ay. So, thank you very much, Ashira. The way you've introduced me reminds me of the way pastors introduce their wives in church.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I felt so appreciated. Talking about you're amazing people. Thank you so much. I think you're amazing yourself.
Yeah.
Amazing job you're doing. My name is Purity Mora. Mengo. Ilikuwa nafaa kwa Mengo, but that's a story for another day. I am a psychologist.
Yes.
I'm a psychologist professionally, but I do a lot of community work in terms of mental health. And we use art-based interventions to ensure that the mental wellness of especially children is top notch, yeah, and not just children, youths as well. I do a lot of work around children as well. Um, Children rights and just that space, children rights spaces, yeah. So very passionate about mental health, very passionate about children, so I try from time to time to just bring those two sides together, where we bring in mental health and children, because now if we start talking about mental health and children, we might not talk about food, so let me leave it there. I'm also an artist. I sing.
Yes.
I do poetry as well. Don't feel like I need to go back to poetry as much as I did, but I love to sing. I'm an actual singer. So niko studio napika kitu, and let's be expectant. Delivery coming soon.
We will. Thank you, Mora, for availing yourself to the show today. We do not take it for
Thank you,
granted.
Ashika. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. You can see it ear to ear smile. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for
Thank you.
inviting me. Mhm.
Asante sana. Now, Byron, we have ladies. So ladies have to go first. You have to take it
No
slow
worries.
kidogo. Rebecca
Yes.
joining us all the way from the United Kingdom. Please, you're not a new face here, a very good friend of the show also. Please introduce yourself, tell us what you do and anything you'd like to share with us today.
Hey guys, great to be back again. My name is Rebecca Mombi Kangau. I'm currently living in the UK. I practice as a pharmacist here. So health, well-being, all that good stuff. I'm on it, and I'm also a foodie. So I'm excited to talk about all things food today. So it was great to be with you once again. And yeah, another time would be great to just have a conversation
Thank you.
about this.
Thank you, Rebecca. Asante sana. And Karibu. I feel like I should tell you Karibu. You know, it's like welcome home. I don't know. But yeah, so we're also waiting to hear Rebecca's experience and also what she has to tell us today. We have now Byron. Byron, you're the last. But the last but not the least. So please introduce yourself today.
Hello, guys. So I am Byron Otieno Kochola, emphasis on Kochola. I am a practicing statistician. I love food. I love food, all matters to do with food. So this was an interesting topic for me. I also love the culture because it empowers our diversity. And the more diverse we are, the more amazing this world is. I am so glad to be here, and I hope we all have a lovely time. Thank you.
Thank you, Byron, also for availing yourself. He's also another good friend of the show. He was here once and he's here today. Thank you very much. You know, and before I forget, this show, I want to say it is in honor of, you know, one of my friends. We are celebrating him. We were celebrating him yesterday. We are still celebrating him today. He's actually the guy who is in charge of all the concept notes that we do. I know Rebecca has seen the concepts. Mora, Byron, his name is Peter Dunga. We are celebrating him. And I want to just say this show, this episode is dedicated to his win, so that we can just celebrate with him. So Peter, where you are, once again, congratulations on your success. And I'm going to start it actually this show could not have come any better. Yesterday we were at Peter's place and we were just eating. It was food. So dine on culture. Oh my. It's gotta get interesting. I see Masharia Mwangi saying Nipo site. Thank you. Welcome, Masharia. Thank you very much. I'm going to start very simple with a very simple question. Mora, let me start with you once again. What is your favorite food? We are here talking about food, but we cannot go ahead if we first do not establish what is your favorite food.
Yeah, you're sweating. That is a very hard question. Because I love food. I should have mentioned this as part of my introduction. That I love food. So, what is my favorite food? Good food is my favorite food, Rashida. Good food is my favorite food. But if I had to name a specific food, I love potatoes. Still, I haven't answered your question because what type of potatoes are they here? Why this is a very complex
potatoes and they don't come from the mountain. Hey.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe the first thing I said when I just came to this world, I said potatoes or something. I don't know. It must have been because the love I have for that tuber, Jesus knows. So any meals with potatoes in them, you know. But napenda ugali. I love ugali. I love somewhere we have some greens and we have some proteins. Kanyama, mostly nyama, yeah, whatever. And then avocado hapo kando, and then kachumbari. Now I want you to just visualize that and tell me you are not salivating right now. So yeah, that is a combo I would love to have. I love that. Also, I just love potatoes. Wake me up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I will forgive you for waking up because you will give me potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how much
I can see Masharia Mwangi saying Nyandarua. You know, cash crop ya Nyandarua ni mawaru.
Yes. Shout out to Nyandarua.
Yeah, Kaveve Kazoze represented them very well. Also, some Nyandarua spirit in your head. I hope Kemani, wherever you are seeing this. Kemani does not like that line near cash crop ya Nyandarua ni mawaru, but it is what it is.
Sir, we need to baptize him. What do you mean?
I even wonder, he's a how can I say, he's a born Nyandaru. How do you call people from Nyandaru?
Nyandaruan. Yeah, Nyandaruan. Should be.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Mora, for that. Allow me to
Oh, thank
cross
you. Yeah.
all the way to the other side of the world, and we hear
Mm.
what is Rebecca's favorite food. I want you to do this. Tell us what is your favorite food here at home here in Kenya,
Mhm.
and is it the same favorite food while you are there, or
Mhm.
is there a different favorite food while you are in the UK?
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. I think it cuts across both places because the
Mm,
favorite food is has to be meat, nyama.
mm,
So
mm,
nyama in Kenya, nyama here. As long as
mm,
it's called meat, I am
mm,
involved. I'm happy. The meal should involve some type of animal inside. Otherwise,
mm,
it doesn't feel like it's complete for me.
mm,
So chicken, lamb, but of course the meat back home is much more healthier, organic, tastes better because of
mm,
how it's been produced versus
mm,
here. So you really have to source out really good one here or pay
mm,
more for the taste. But back home is just so organic, so tasty, just naturally. But here you
mm.
have to work a bit harder. But as long as it's meat, I'm happy.
Great,
Yeah, yeah.
great. That is nice. Thank you, Rebecca, for that. Byron, I'm very interested
Uh-huh.
to hear this. What is your favorite? I'm aware Niwale, the only thing they cannot eat is kokoto.
First of all, yes, the way my mom
Mm,
raised me, the only
mm,
food I cannot eat is poison. but I do have a favorite food. I do have a
mm.
favorite food, and my favorite food is pilau. I
Wow.
well made pilau just
Mm,
does something for me. I cannot explain it, but it does something for me. The way it is
mm,
mixed with the meat and the way it
mm,
has the spices.
mm.
Jirani, two neighbors away can be cooking pilau, but you can feel the smell from your place. It's just enticing. I bet you there's a lot of lures in Mombasa because of that pilau. Pilau has something interesting to it. It
You
just
know,
has the flavor. Like there's a lot of effort put into it, and that is why I love it. It's amazing food for me. Pilau any day, anytime. Well cooked, I will be
yeah.
there.
I have a friend of mine. He's
Mm.
not a Luo, but you have to research. He's in Junior
Uh-huh.
Collins. He loves pilau very
Uh-huh.
much. You should talk with him.
Yes.
Maybe you can go with him to Mombasa.
Yes.
Somebody can spend 50 minutes in the kitchen just for I don't know.
Yes,
Anyway,
just to
I don't know.
experience the different flavors.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
once you see him in that craft, I don't know what you guys love him, but it's good. It's good. It is tasty. I love the way it is just. For me, what gets to me about pilau is it's the
Uh-huh.
process of making it. It's not even in the eating. It's just in the process. You find
Uh-huh.
somebody mtu amechafua sufuria tano and he's just cooking one thing and you just wonder, how do you are you able to do this? It's a weird
They
combination
want to
of things.
combine the flavors. Those flavors need to mix together to form this amazing food. And
Yeah.
once it's ready, I promise you will enjoy it.
It
Uh-huh.
has to be very meticulously done and executed.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Thank you for that. I can see Live, Laugh, and Love saying, Rebecca, no Kunde. I don't know if Rebecca knows Kunde. Rebecca, I'll talk to Kunde. And he's also saying, Otieno, be honest. Porridge. Huh? Yeah.
La, 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 la.
So yeah, thank you guys for continuing sending your comments. At least you've established this guy's favorite food here. For me, I think the only person hapa tunaelewana ni I think it's everybody. Everybody has mentioned everything that I love. Rebecca, okay, and let me start. It is meat. It has to have meat. Come on. We don't like eating chakula za kuku. That is number one. And then now I understand pilau sometimes has meat. That's a tick for me. And because of where I come from, hey, the people from the mountain, Mora will just have to have a conversation. So
No,
potato also
my
very
pilau
nice.
has to have meat. My pilau has to have meat. If it
Yes.
doesn't have meat, it's not pilau.
But those people who cook pilau without meat, they should tell us what they think. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Now, let us get deeper into the conversation. food is a very interesting thing. It brings people together. It actually, yesterday that celebration party of our friend, I was sharing with a friend of mine, is that why is it that in Africa, if you call people to a party, even if it is a funeral, and there is no food, then we will have had other better things to do. I think it is more about the food, because the conversation was like, should we serve the food before what has brought us here, or after what has brought us here? If it's a graduation party, for instance, should we serve it before we start now having the speeches? Or first of all, we do the important things, which is eating, and then now focus on the other things. But, food is very important. In our culture, we normally like saying that a person who eats alone dies alone. Okay. And you also say that food is very tasty, it's very sweet when it is shared. And it's normally, you guys understand it. You can see that many places where we go, food brings people together. And once you are eating it, you have some guests at your place, you are cooking, it's, oh my, it gets so nice, because there's something that, there is a culture. I don't know if you can call it a culture or a philosophy behind food, and that's what I want us to start with. And that one I'll give it to you, Byron. Tell us, what is the culture behind food, especially from your community? What do you understand about it? How have the people view it? Since the ancient times, and yeah, what is the culture behind food in your community?
In my community, we are lovers of food. That is why we mostly grow so big. We're lovers of food. We enjoy food in diverse ways. And the most popular food from our side, as you all know, is fish. Because fish is just some amazing food. The way it gives you this nutrition, the nutrition you need, it is tasty, and so you enjoy it. So I think for our culture, at times there are foods that are meant for nutrition. So there are foods that you eat because they're nutritious. They might not be as sweet, but there are foods that are reserved for enjoyment. You eat it to partake in it. Like when you have a visitor over, huwezi leta mgeni upike mboga peke yake. Huwezi leta mgeni. You cannot have over a visitor and you're just serving them greens. You have to
Byron, you
serve them
should tell
some
us,
meat, some spices.
is this the normal kind of visitor, or is it the special kind of visitor?
Where
Yeah.
I come from, every
Yes.
visitor is special. Every single
Come on,
visitor is
come
special.
on.
There is no visitor that a special kind. As long as there is a visitor, you are going to celebrate and have fun, because the visitor brings joy to the home. The visitor brings peace to the home.
Yeah, true. Thank you. Wanasemanga mgeni njoo mwenyeji apone. It's
Mwenyeji
true.
apone.
When the visitors come, something just happens. I remember when I was growing up, or when I'm at home, when visitors come, you guys come from an African family. I don't know what happens. There is food that you even wonder, wow, there is even new plates. They're just flying all there.
Your parents is broke, but suddenly
Yeah,
there's a
we
lot
were
of meat
broke like
around.
yesterday. But today we are slaughtering chicken and all that. And what you've said is also true. There are some communities, especially in Luya, especially, there the chicken is a very, very special mboka, the way they normally say it. The man has to eat a certain part is for a woman, and there is the culture behind that and all that. Now, I want us to cross sides to Rebecca, and Rebecca, just also tell us now, there in UK, what is the culture, or matters pertaining food? What is the philosophy there of food? And when especially when you compare it, here in Kenya, and they are just paint a picture for us, what is the difference? What is like the huge difference that we can see?
I would say, in terms of the food, there's a lot of emphasis in terms of maybe takeaway, not much home cooking. And even in the supermarkets, it's a lot of ready-made food. So in food, there's a lot of convenience. So it's the fast life, microwave, go, busy, busy, busy. So food is on the go. It's literally fuel for you to survive. Because there's not a lot of emphasis on family, there's not a lot of emphasis on community. is very individualistic. So the food also is very individualistic. So you would
Mhm.
even buy a meal for one, it's ready made for one person or two people, or it's very individualistic.
Mhm.
But in terms of maybe culture, I would say it's more to do with maybe the drinks sometimes.
Mhm.
So more social culture, it's more of the drink side,
Mhm.
alcohol, and also in terms of family side, we say tea. So they
Mhm.
love tea. So that's the tea side is when they socialize and say, when someone comes to your house, would you like a cup of tea?
Mhm.
So more with the drinks that they love to socialize with. Food wise is more like survival, but they do enjoy, let's say baked goods, the sweet side. With that one, they love to create, make art. They love baking.
Mhm.
But in terms of food, I would say it's more the drink side that they would socialize with. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Comparing both sides, which one do you find, better? Is here or there?
Ah, home there. Oh my gosh, because the food will now bring people together. The food will now bring families, generations together. People are learning from each other, comparing. Food brings memory from childhood and brings you closer to even family members as well. Definitely, there is something about back home that is nice for people to come together, and that food that will bring them together and the memories of that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What is the most okay, let me put it different.
Mm.
Which food do you really miss? Once you land in Kenya, straight from JKA, you're heading to get.
I am heading to get the Fanta and I
Hmm.
am heading to get Maziwa Mala.
Hmm.
100%. Those two. Everything else we can find here, but those two things, Maziwa Mala, Fanta, and Motura. Motura. Cannot
If
find
you
it
would not
anywhere.
have said that, kama
Absolutely.
aunge, you cannot, somebody told me you cannot compare Mutura to other useless things.
Ah,
Mutura is just at the top.
yeah. Even
But
when you say it here, you couldn't find it here. Yeah.
yeah, for Mutura, for Maziwa Mala, we'll talk with Ken Keter. I don't know if he's watching. He organizes for you a mursik, the proper Maziwa
Yes,
Mala.
please. It's needed, necessary.
Yeah, yeah. So I can see more comments coming in. Much appreciated for everybody who is sending in the comments. Oh, Peter Dunga is here. Is saying, "Pilau without meat is the original recipe." Where, bwana? Who is this guy? Okay, what are you saying? We have just we have live, laugh, and love. Law of the food and the food alone. Interesting. And then we have Dunga. I hope now you're saying something better. He say food tastes better when eaten together. True, that is really true. We have Ken Kipto. Oh, he's in saying just arrived. So today we are talking about food. Beautiful. And then we have Gabu Mina. Gabu Mina is just saying Washira. Thank you, Gabriel, for being here. And then we have Ken Kipto Kete saying, uh, let's see this comment saying, and where are our guests tonight from? Wewe Kenya umechelewa leo, so you go back, rewind the video, and find out where they are from. That is your fine for today. And then he's also saying, Ken Kitokete saying, Maziwa Mala will be on me, Rebecca. Ukifika, I'll be there with my sautet calabash. Oh, amazing. And then we have Mashari Mwangi say, I will cater for Mutura. Hey, Rebecca, you're receiving so much love. Hey, this is nice. Thank you, guys. Mimi, I've been here in this country for all this time and I've not been offered anything, but it's just okay. It does not matter the condition. Now, let me go back to to Mora. Mora, for you, just hearing what Baron is telling us tonight, uh, hearing the experience of Rebecca, also in the UK, you tell us also now in this modern times, in this now modern African times, do you think we really care about what do we call? Do we really care about the culture. When you eat something, you have said you love potatoes. Do you care about the culture behind it? Is there a deep connection? You know, there are people who have like the Luyas and Kuku. There's a deep connection. There is a philosophy that cannot just be explained. So do you really care about that? And also just tell us, as you are growing up, what were the taboos behind certain things that maybe your parents or the people who raised you for example, in our home, if you are ukiekewa chakula and you do not finish it, you're going to get it. So you better sit down there and finish it. You know, such kind of things. And then you don't get to choose whatever food you want until you grow a little bit older. And then they ask you, what do you want us to cook for? You know, but when you are young, just tell us how it was for you in terms of food.
Oof. Down memory lane we go, eh? So, personally, my relationship with potatoes is purely on the basis of taste and how diverse it is, honestly, unless I think about family culture around that. Because we must admit that culture is very dynamic, right? It changes over time. Traditions can change as well. And what was considered a taboo, say, like now using a spoon is now our tradition. It's traditional for us to use spoons. We are getting that. Like when we eat rice, you know, except for say some communities where they prefer kwasinia, you know, and then their hands, which is amazing and great. Things have changed. I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to do this thing where we were making mandazis. We'd make so many mandazis, so many, like tule tubesheni tudogo foods, you know, and then or chapos, mostly zilikuwa these vitu chapo mandazi hizo, you know, and then when we're done, every neighbor gets to have a certain amount. Pelekea mama nani, take this to mama nani. You know, I don't know if you guys did that, but that was what was happening then. And now, that is definitely not. I don't know. Everyone is very suspicious. We are going towards what Rebecca has talked about, you know, and that's just sad, because what makes food good, shared food good, is the fact that we have associated the good feelings of the moment with that particular food. If you took that food during a time of war, that is not it wouldn't be your favorite food, no matter how good. But if you took it during a time of cheer and a time of feasting and a time of encouragement with your people, with your community, and they're like, you're going through a hard time, but we're here for you. You associate that food with good things, you know. So again, maybe it goes to the side where our brains play a part in how we perceive food itself, you know. So the culture behind sharing food, of course, has changed totally. Even when you have neighbors, economy ni mbaya, Washira. and now you
the one who has guests. I don't know why he has the money to cater for guests.
This neighbors, Nairobi. You know what I'm saying? Right now we are on a budget. We're on a budget. So if you get one more person taking from your plate, unapiga hesabu, end of month itafika. What are we gonna do here? You know, because when you're planning, you don't plan for like impromptu. Maybe you plan for visitors for a certain time. You know what I'm talking about. And like right now, our social fabric as well. Say before, my mother would live close to her sister, so it's easier for them to come to one house or all of that, right? Right now, my brother sijui ako wapi, my sister ako wapi, my mom ako wapi, ako Kisumu, mwingine ako Coast, mwingine, you know, all that. So trying to get all these people together in a in a very capitalistic world, in a very what I say, individualistic world. It's me, you know. So we don't give much of that to the people who are around us, which is very sad, because we need people. We need to build that sense of community, and I am here for you, you know, Ubuntu, right? Yeah. So I think that is some of the trends I've seen changing over time, and that wasn't even a long time ago. That's the thing. You know, if it was miaka za kale zilizopita when that was happening, that we would be having a totally different conversation right now. But now I'm seeing we're heading to where UK is. We are going to just order our food and eat in the house. We don't even have time to go buy. That there's that. I don't know if you guys that process of I'm going to talk to Mama Mboga, and Mama Mboga tells me how the day was, and this is the best nyanya or nichagulie nyanya. That joy of interacting na customer mwingine, mnacheka about something, about your machungwa or about banana avocado. There's that sense, and then there's a whole community around there that goes to the same Mama Mboga. You know what I'm saying? And then coming to sit down and back to the house and preparing the food from step one to the last step. And let me tell you, there's also that aspect of the reward that comes after work done. The reward system in our brains, where once you do something and you feel good about doing it, you want to do it again. And it just makes you, the way dopamine just works, that I have accomplished. And it makes you become more patient. It makes you more resilient. It makes you feel I have achieved, I have been productive today. I mean, I understand the convenience that comes with takeout food. I mean, very convenient, but then it is taking something away from us, just like every other thing is taking something away from us. There's the good side and the bad side, but I mean, putting it on a one scale, I personally love to cook. If there was something Rebecca wanted cooked, my friend unashuka JK tukapo tunakungoja na kitu from me. What should we'll talk.
Yeah, we will organize that. Thank you for joy.
Yeah, there's the joy of preparing food that is we might just lose. You know what I'm saying? We might just lose it. But I hope we pass it on to our kids, to our young ones, to those who come before us, and tell them, let's not lose the skills, because I'm sure that techniques of cooking that we're losing as Africans. I mean, I remember right now I'm learning, as much as I'm saying I'm a good cook, najua kupika waru vizuri, but going down to the greens we made, nikondogo like managu, those that you had to cook in a very delicate way and wait. And the beautiful thing about the African foods we cook, there were no recipes. I don't know how our parents did that. There's this meme that goes around about unangoja, your ancestors tell you, your ancestors tell you, just enough salt, just enough whatever.
Yeah. And unapima na macho.
There's no recipe that tells you how fat is. We didn't even have spoons. So I don't know. What are you saying?
Yeah, I hear you. Mora, thank you for that. I also want to hear Bayron's experience while growing up. Let me just say it. There's also a friend of mine. Actually, it's just the same guy. His Collins. It's the kind of people, when you are growing up, chapati ikipikwa, they will always be walking around near the kitchen. And then he'll be telling their friends, you go home, today tunapika chapati. So you should not be hanging around here, or you should be hanging around here. There was a different mood when chapati was being cooked. Let us be honest, our days were not the ones that chapati was being cooked during Christmas, no. But it was during those days when it was not Christmas necessarily, but it was just on rare occasions, maybe once in a month or so. And those days, there was just a different attitude. There was a different mood. I don't know if Bayron, that is your experience also. You just tell us briefly how it was for you when you were growing up in terms of, your experience with food at home.
So growing up, first of all, my mom used to ensure that Sundays were our chapati days. Sunday was the chapati days. It was well known that Sunday at supper time, it was chapati. That was law. It was law and it was approved by everyone. So on Sundays, there was that mood, that vibe. You're just happy. After church, you're just happy. There's nothing that has made you happy. You're sad about school tomorrow, but there's chapati somewhere. There's chapati somewhere. And
Yeah, and people
uh,
the people thinking that the Lord has made you happy. Kumbe it is just chapati.
ni chapati imekufurahisha. And so
Yeah.
we used to have this culture when
Mm,
we were younger, before we got into high school, when we were still in primary, when we were all kids. Whenever
mm,
our mom used to cook the first chapati, the first chapati was always to be shared among the children. Like
yes.
me and my siblings will take the chapati and we're just tearing it up. Chukua yako,
Mm,
chukua yako, chukua yako. It's like have a piece, have a piece. And that is the first place you see food bringing the community together. So that was
mm,
our experience with chapati. Up to date, I still love chapati. I've eaten
yeah.
so many chapatis in campus, but I am not yet tired of it. I can still have some more. And
Mm,
I can say growing up, food, there were various cultures we had around food that were very interesting. For us, my dad used to be very strict. Food was a communal thing. He wanted it to be with everyone. You are not going to eat unless everyone is at the dinner table. If that
mm,
food is on the dinner table, you have to call everyone first, and then so that you can dine, so that it is a dinner, a family dinner.
mm,
We are eating and we are conversing. How was the day been? Because that was our ritual. Another ritual that was there around food was it was a place of sharing your successes. It was a place of sharing your successes because we used to talk, today I've achieved this, today I've
mm,
achieved this, today you have done what. So it was an interesting meeting place. It brings everyone together, and in that moment you find some joy because you're sharing with everyone. The meal is
mm,
light-hearted and the meal is amazing, definitely. And I
yeah.
think that was the most interesting part for food about my childhood. And
Mm,
also, you have to finish your portions. You have to finish your portions. The rule was you better serve less and finish it than leave
yeah.
food on the plate. That was a
Mm,
crime. You will sleep
yeah.
with the sufuria on that table if you do not finish it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Baron, for that. We have Gabu Maina saying that Rebecca Mutura for real, and then we have Macharia Mwangi saying it slaps different at night. I keep telling guys this. Darkness is an ingredient for Mutura. There has to be, it just slaps different when there is no light. I mean, sunshine. We have somebody called African Mr. Beast saying, "Dude, we had spoon, we had spoon." Okay, okay. And then you have Ken Kiptoke Terry saying, "In my home, when you are found with a fork, it was war." But then there was this thing, you are not supposed to be around forks. Hey, anyway. And then we have Dunga saying ya kuonja, the first chapati for tasting is another unwritten law. By the way, you had to bless it. It was like you have to bless it, you have to approve and say everything is set. And it was just amazing. And then we have Ken Kiptoke saying the excitement that came with chapati in a homestead was unprecedented. And then you started eating chapatis anyhow. A real sad and unfortunate phenomenon. Oh, it's really sad indeed. But you see, it varies. Maybe people have now adapted to a new chapati. I don't know. But for other people like Byron, they're finding chapati not to change. It is still the same chapati. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Chapati is still chapati. And it's amazing. It's amazing the experience that we are hearing from guys here. And what about, I also like to hear this from Rebecca and Joe. Me, when I was growing up, one of the things that I never understood my mother was teaching me was trying to teach you how to cook. You know, I've been raised in a household where we are only brothers. There was no sister. And my mother was always like, one day you're going to go to university and there you're going to be cooking for yourselves. And I was just wondering, what is this woman saying? You're telling a class 5, class 6 kid university. I don't even know how class 8 looks like. And then I got to university and I just said, oh, bless that woman, because she taught me. I'm now surviving. I'm teaching my friends how to cook ugali. People are suffering out here and they should send kakitu because of that. Now, Rebecca, for you, I also like to hear your experience, with food when you're growing up, and just tell us, well, you're in the UK, how is the experience for kids there? How are you raising children there? And are you trying also to have that culture? Are you trying to bring in the African, way of doing things in terms of food? Just talk to us about that, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah. I think growing up, I was told that I didn't like food apparently for some weird reason. But I do remember as I grew up, I think my food habits they increased. My appetite increased and got better. But I know I used to look forward so much to, like, your mom is coming home from work or whatever, and she's got those chips. Oh my God. Or kenchik. Okay, I remember kenchik, just walking down Nairobi and you can just smell the kenchik. But it's a bit different these days, not like it used to be back in the day. The kenchik was fresh and nice. And so I remember, I think I was allergic to dengue at one point, but because I loved dengue so much, I ate it until the allergy had to go out of my body because I just love the dengue. And it's just the smells, the moods of mandazi. Ah, my God. And samosas. Oh, Lord. And even the neighborhood, when you're just playing around, you can just smell that pilau, as Baron was talking about that pilau. Hey, as in the childhood was just rich, full of flavor, full of smells, full of food. It's just the fun of the food is just what makes it even more enjoyable when you're eating it and when you're looking forward to it and stuff. So growing up with food was great back home. So I'd say in the UK, here in terms of food, I think the children are brought up a lot too much with sweets and sugar, which is not good for them inevitably, and snacks, very snacky, like snack, 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 snack. So now they're trying to get more healthy. So young people now are trying to get into that vegan side, that gluten-free side, which would not work for chapatis and mandazis and samosas. So what would we do? So I think things are going towards that vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, meat-free, everything free. So the food is just being stripped off, which we're trying to get healthy, which is good. But I think everything in moderation is the best. Just balance it. I think that's what we're trying to do with our children now. Just understanding that, everything swimming in, like the Kikuyu, the potato is swimming inside the rice, inside there's something else. Everything is swimming together and in a whole mountain, which is not good either. But just balancing it out, everything nicely. Yeah, the best thing I'd say.
Somebody is telling me, Rebecca, you're just reminding them of Chipomwitu. There's a way, I don't know how I can explain this. There's a philosophy. There's just something behind Chipomwitu, and there is also a manner of eating it as a kid. And I saw somebody who's just old enough and saying, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to eat it the kind of kid way. Chipomwitu has to be placed in a certain kind of plastic. It has to be, oh man. Let me not get there. I can see Timothy Mabango saying, talking of Mutura, I was surprised Kumbe ndio Boer Wars. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Boerewors. And he's telling me here, it's on WhatsApp, it's not on YouTube. He's saying that iko siku nimeenda fancy restaurant somewhere West, naitisha Boer Wars, naletewa Mutura bana. So he never knew that is the name for Mutura in those, in English. And he's saying that this is a good show, I'm loving it. And next time nilete Muluya bana. So we are going to do that. Yeah. Next time tutaleta Muluya. But yeah, there's no worries. There's no worries. I'm loving it today. It's a really interesting conversation. I can see also Kevin Derito saying this we call him the man from Toronto. Also another very good friend of this show saying those of us who ate katakata some few mandazi stroke chapati with githeri soup in a paper. Oh my God. I'm telling you, let me not even go there. So Kevin is a kata kata kind of guy. Thank you, Kevin, for tuning in tonight. It's awesome. Thank you. Continue sending in your comments. We'll be reading them. Also, if you have any question, please do not hesitate to send them in through our comments section. Let me go back to Mora. Mora, one thing you've mentioned is that you are also a very strong, and I know that for a fact, you're a very strong advocate for mental health. And these days, it is without doubt that we connect mental issues and mental health state with various issues. So, is there a connection, especially with issues mental health, the food, and mental health, or is there a relationship behind it? I'm sure for a person like Byron, if he's feeling a little bit anxious and ako chini kidogo, I take to him at a party or pilau, or I take to all the way to the UK. I go with Mutura. Rebecca will be very, very much happy and okay. So, Mora, is there a reasoning behind that?
101%, Rashida. 100. Like I'm looking at this in tons of ways. From the very essence of food is nutrition. We cannot function. Literally, we cannot function without food.
Yeah.
So in that aspect of physiology, of course, that affects it's what do I call it? It's holistic. It's very much holistic. One aspect of it is affected, the other is affected as well. And from the fact that we actually have pathologies, we have illnesses, mental illnesses that are directly associated with food, such as anorexia nervosa and bulimia and binge eating, and mental illnesses along that spectrum of anxiety and OCD, right? And they come down to food, as I've said. You can also look at it from the aspect of our physical bodies are affected. Like if you have a certain part of your body that's ailing you, you are recommended certain types of food, or you're told do not eat certain types of food, right? Or if you have spots on your face or on your back or somewhere, you're told avoid such foods, right? Or do not or use certain foods, right? And then down to the fact that I talked about community and what that does to the brain. The fact that you associate good food with the people you were with, especially, right? And what it took to have that food come to you and how special it was, right? And then we go to yourself, or your sense of your sense of self-importance, right? The fact that you have taken time. I talked about resilience. I talked about values of patience. So it enhances certain types of emotions as well, which is, of course, connected to your mental health. So the fact that you've taken your time to prepare food for people you love, that does something, because when it go back to psychological needs, the need of intimacy. Intimacy is, I know how you cook, I know how it feels to eat your food and what it took for you to prepare me that food. It means I can trust you. Let me tell you something, you people. There's nothing as crucial as trust when it comes to food. There are places you know very well you couldn't go and eat. Kuna vibanda, you know very well. Or if you could remember, there were places you were told as a kid, do not go to that place to eat. So trust as well is essential, and that directly affects what? Our mental health, right?
True. Yeah,
There's
true.
also a sense of safety. As a psychological need, we need to feel safe. There is a lot of safety when it comes to food. That's why we have boards by governments to make sure that the safety, kwa nyama, kwa sijui what, we have cabs, we have what, there's safety. And when you take that down to a very like a very personal level, what are we talking about? How safe do you feel around me enough to want to eat my food?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, and then when we when it comes to your sense of the values of esteem, as I've talked about, when you know I can make good food, what does that do to your self-esteem? When people appreciate the food that you made, what does that
Yeah.
do to your sense of self-worthiness? Not that you should base that off of that particular thing. Everything should be innate. Your sense of esteem at least should be innate. The basis of it should, but it feels so good to be appreciated. Gratitude is a very important value, and often we learn our senses of gratitude are elevated in that space of food, because someone made you food, or you say thank you. Someone offered you something, you were hungry, you say thank you. Unfortunately, it could go to the flip side again.
Mhm.
And every time you had to earn food, that also does something to your trauma response
Mm, mm,
and your association with food. If
mhm,
every time there's food, you had to be beaten, so you associate food with very negative memories and thoughts. So you'll
mm,
have a very complicated relationship with food.
mhm,
And that also spills over to how you communicate with people and how you relate with people, down to
mhm,
your mental health. So if you ask me what mental health has to do with food, almost everything, honestly. And also when you're having mental health issues, say depression, your sense of appetite is affected. Food.
mhm, mm,
People who are eat out of anxiety,
mhm.
food, right?
Yeah.
So food is at the very I mean, when you look at the hierarchy of needs, Mr. Maslow, yeah,
Mm,
understanding that it is on the very basicness of everything, and
mm.
then our physical needs as well. Food is right there.
Yeah.
And sometimes the fact that you do not have food, what does that mean?
Mm,
Your sense of lack affects our sense of hope. Lack,
mhm,
when you come from a place of lack and you had to say put aside your dignity to earn food, what does that do to you as well?
mm.
Yeah, so mental health, food, almost
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. I don't think I could have placed it any better. That is so nice. It's an in-depth way of looking at it, and the connection of it is it's so nice. On the issue of safety, I don't know about others, but for me, when there is, I feel most safe where there is when there is ugali and meat. I'm very safe. You know, I feel most safe. Ah, yeah. I can see a question from Kimani, or we call him Christopher Mwangi, and he has actually led me to my next set of thematic questions and issues of nutrition and all that. And he's asking, is transitioning to new foods, non-African foods, nutritional progress or deviation from culture? Bayron, I want you to react to this question. Is transitioning to new foods, non-African foods to be exact, nutritional progress or deviation from culture?
Mura said something interesting. Mura
Mhm,
said culture changes and culture transitions.
mhm,
Uh, I think we will eventually have to we might eventually have to transition to new foods, and we have transitioned quite a lot. Where when you look at foods like maize and potatoes, these were not foods that were initially here.
mhm,
Maize was brought about by the Portuguese. Potatoes potatoes are grown in Ireland. So you see, these foods have all come about. Right now, we've embraced it as our culture, but they were not
mhm,
initially here. For
mhm,
example, in my community, what we used to grow, it's called it's I think it's sorghum. It's called bell in Kijaluo.
mhm,
So that was the main ingredient of ugali. The real
mhm,
ugali is the brown ugali for us. That was the real ugali for us. But you see, we
mhm,
have embraced the maize, and now the maize is part of our culture. Right now, people are
mhm,
fighting for unga because of the high prices and everything. So I think
mhm,
culture transitions over time. We might
mhm,
transition to new foods, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Culture
mhm,
should be adaptive. It should respond to how society is moving. If there is a lack of something, we should not
mhm,
be so stiff and restricted to this particular thing that we should be just stuck there. We should be able to transition and embrace
mhm,
something new for the betterment of our own lives. And yes, I
mhm,
think I think, however, the challenge, and I think his main concern is the fast food culture, the culture we see with in the UK, that fast food culture. We can
mhm,
we can adapt and not necessarily transition to that. We already know the challenges of fast food, and we do not want to go that way. So we can create a new way. What is the new available materials? If it is maize that is, if it is rice that is growing better, what can we do with our rice? What can we make? How can we make it the healthiest possible version instead of just embracing it the way it is? I think we should embrace it, but with caution. That is my response.
Thank you for that response, Bayron, for that. And I want to bring in now Rebecca Ju. Bayron has placed it. Okay, he has put it in a manner that it's not a bad thing exactly. But where do we draw the line, especially for you now who is in UK, and also for the generations that are coming after you guys? Where do you draw the line? Do you hear now we are being accused of, okay, not some other people are being accused of being watoto wa Serelak, yeah? I don't know. I'm even hearing that from the political class. You hear people saying, defending, I don't know, President Ruto, or against, President Uhuru, and they're saying, huyu si ule mwenye alikula, huyu si mtoto wa Serelak. There's that language behind that. And Rebecca, I just wanted you to tell us, where do we draw the line, in terms of nutrition? Yes, we are adapting to culture. Right now, people, remember some time back, Indomie was not there. But right now, somebody can take it as lunch and just go about the day. But I know if you give that to some lawyer friends of ours, there's nothing you've done. You had a tu nja. So Rebecca, where do we draw the line so that we cannot lose ourselves in the process, the nutrition behind it, and especially you now who is in the UK? Rebecca.
I would say embracing new food. I think it's good. It's always good to be explorative, to enjoy other people's culture. Like even here, the core British food is very little. Most of the foods are actually other countries' foods that we eat, like Chinese food, Indian food, African food. The British food, you can count it on one hand, like what the traditional meals are. So because of the rich culture and the people, everyone is forced to eat other people's food, and you get to explore and see what you like, what you don't like. So I think it's good to be explorative as well. And I think it's good to also just improve on what you have already, not to lose it, but maybe make it more healthier in terms of the nutritional value, so that you get the best out of it. So like I mentioned before about the waru and the rice on one plate, maybe just have the waru today and nyama, tomorrow you have the rice and nyama, not all together. Just as more that we learn about food and the effects of it, in terms of also like even obesity and even childhood obesity, we just have to be mindful on what we are fueling our bodies with, especially if you're working, or if you're especially your children. Just make sure that the fuel you're taking in is good for just fueling your body and not producing excess fat or excess, especially now with as pharmacists, health issues, diabetes, obesity, even as I said, mental health in general, bodily health, physical health, just making sure that you're getting the best out of your food and also enjoying the food at the same time. So culture, I don't think we should lose the culture, the core culture of the food that it is, but that we enjoy, but also be explorative, be open to other ways of cooking, other ways of doing things. Like sometimes the oil that we use in Africa is very, especially in the western parts of Africa, can be very heavy, but you can explore olive oil or lighter oils, but you still have the same effect, the same dish, but the health of it is still better. That's what I'd say. Yeah.
Thank you, Rebecca, for that. I can see time is not on our side anymore. Kwa Kiswahili tunasema muda umetupa kisogo. And I'd like just to get final comments from our panelists tonight, starting with you, Mora. We started with you. We also want to hear your final comments. What do you just want to, say as we wrap up this broadcast tonight, Mora?
Give me a sec. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Something today that
Hello, Mora. I don't know if you can hear us. We're getting some network issues, Mora.
Am I?
Okay. Mora, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry. So I was thinking about I think introducing a culture to something would be a great thing, even for myself. I say, let me create a culture, my own, around this, and probably, I don't know, probably pass it on to a couple of people or those who come after me. That would be really, really cool. Whether they change it to something else, there must be a culture around it, and that is what makes things special. So I'm thinking about it, and generally because we've had a conversation about nutrition and mental health in relation to food. Myself, I try, and I would urge us all to just try to look at what we eat because it does affect our quality of life. Yes, so that's what I'd love to say, and always make sure you eat good food. It makes you feel so much better. Always just try to learn how to cook or just something around it because it makes everything just way better. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, thank you
Thank
for
you.
inviting me for the show. I really had fun having this conversation and listening to Rebecca and listening to Byron and listening to Ashia. Thank you so much. I loved it. Asante.
Thank you, Mara, also for being here tonight. We appreciate you. Rebecca, also all the way from the UK. What are your final comments on this topic today?
Oh, I'd say like just what Mora was saying. I just echo that in terms of the food, the cooking side. Just for us not to lose the skills. I think it's like one of the vital life skills that we just need to keep alive, keep those recipes being passed down to generations, and not be afraid to try different things. Just on the menu, when you have your week menu, ugali, just like explore other things as well and the other cultures, and then you just mix it up and just make it amazing. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Rebecca, once again, also for availing yourself tonight. We appreciate very much. Byron, it's now up to you. Tell us your final comments. If you are inviting us, I've heard you are inviting some guests. We will be very glad.
First of all,
I know Rebecca might
first
not
of
be able
all,
to get here, but Mora and I, we are very ready.
you are always welcome. You are always welcome. I have my mom's culture. There is always in my place. There is always a flask of tea waiting for anyone. If you're coming over, there is a flask of tea waiting for you. We will decide what to cook after you arrive. We will make that decision arbitrarily. My final comment is when they say you are what you eat, it is because what you eat affects you in so many ways. It affects your health, it affects your energy levels, it affects your mood, it affects everything in your life. So be aware of what you're eating. Eat to enjoy the different cuisines, but also eat while being mindful. Eat while being mindful. Be aware of the different ingredients in the food. Be aware of your food. That is what I think they meant when they said you are what you eat.
Yes. Also, Byron,
Thank
thank
you
you
for
very, very
inviting me
much.
today. And I think we have had a very lovely time, Ashira. I will be very glad if you invite me another time. I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed. I will
Uh,
keep that in mind. Also, thank you very much, Byron, for also availing yourself to have this conversation. I've also enjoyed it and I've loved it, every bit of it. I'm sure for those who have watched us live, they have enjoyed it too. And for those who will be watching this video later, I'm sure they'll get to enjoy and also learn from what we have gathered here tonight. Uh, just as we wrap up, I want to say that it is. Oh, I can see more comments. Just allow me to read them through before we finish. It was Dunga. It is Dunga saying it was an amazing conversation. I would have wished to hear about the grand entrance of the boy child into the kitchen in recent years. That one actually will keep that in mind as you are drafting the next part of this, the second part of this episode, the grand entrance of the boy child into the kitchen. And remember, the grand. What is the opposite of entrance? Of the girl child.
Exit.
Yes, the grand exit of the of the girl child. That one we should actually have that in mind and talk about that. Appreciate everybody who has watched us live. We really appreciate you for sending in your comments, just taking your time and watching us. We really appreciate. And then also in a very special manner, allow me to thank Mora, Rebecca, and Byron also for being here and just having this conversation. And there is something I want to make clear before we wrap up the show. I've been getting this confusion from guys. You know, we have State of the Continent and we have African Corner. I get to send these links. State of the Continent, to make it clear, is a political show, and it happens on Wednesday. We do it on Wednesday. We discuss issues, politics and economics in Africa, and more so in Kenya, our country. But on Sunday, we have African Corner. African Corner is a social show. Like today, we are talking about social issues affecting Africa and all that. Things like food, oh my. So I want our audience to get that straight. So there's a difference between State of the Continent, which is political, and African Corner, which is social. Oh, we have Live, Laugh, and Love is saying that this baraza should last 90 minutes. I'll invite my grandmother Nyarwai. She's a nutritionist. Indeed, indeed. Thank you. Yeah, tell your grandmother we are waiting, and she's much, welcome to have this discussion with and she'll also tell us what she'll be cooking for us. Grandmothers with food, it's just amazing. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much. I cannot say how much I'm grateful for tonight. And also remember, I just want to echo this again. This show is an honor. It's an honor. We are dedicating it to Peter Dunga for his success. I want to echo that we want to celebrate guys, give them their flowers when they're alive, and I think we have done him justice tonight with this awesome panel, with these wonderful vibes and energy. Oh my! People are promising Mutura. I hope they will deliver. And Mursik, we are waiting to hear that. And Baron, we are not joking. We are coming. So tell your mother to get ready. And with that, I would like to say, my name is Mutadhi wa Shirawanyaga, Mujiro wa Baria Karigezi, Dayo, Dayo.